perspective, he was very compassionate. He listened to the women. I think it's definitely his intention to issue a state apology as far as we're concerned for what happened in the Magdalene laundries. And I think from our own perspective, it was a worthwhile meeting, and I think hopefully he'll do the right thing in 2 weeks' time. But
okay, and Maureen, what did you feel that you got the sort of the response that you wanted?
He was very nice and very kind, and we all cried a tear. But he was marvellous, sympathetic, and he said he would do his best.
And Marina, anything Maureen?
No, he was very sympathetic. The saddest part about him, we had to go over our stories again, and so that was quite tearful. But he said it was important that you could put a face to the stories that's in the report, and I think that meant something to us.
Did he say he would make a full apology?
Yes, I think that's coming.
When do you expect that, this week? Tomorrow?
We're not sure.
we've been told it's the 19th is the debate, so we're imagining it's going to be on the 19th. And as far as we're concerned, that's when it should happen, because that's when the women have prepared for that, I suppose, apology to happen. So I think in that context, if it happens on the 19th, it would be the ideal scenario, because obviously there's women travelling from the UK and there's women that will be travelling up from the country that would want to attend that and to hear that in the Dáil. So I think from our own perspective, we didn't think that we'd get 3 hours meeting with the Taoiseach. I think he listened to each of the women's stories. They weren't rushed in any capacity. I think a lot of the women actually told about things that had happened that they hadn't told anybody else, and I think from that perspective he surely now has the social intelligence to understand that to make the apology is definitely the right thing on behalf of all the citizens. And I think nobody would disagree with the fact that the women should get the state apology. So hopefully he'll step up with the leadership and do that and show the true leader that he could be in terms of bringing the country forward into maybe a better republic.
Stephen, was there dissatisfaction on your part expressed about the fact he was a bit backward about coming forward with an apology on the day that this report was released?
Well, I suppose I just would have assumed that he would have taken the initiative on the day that it happened, and because the report is over 1,000 pages long and the women had always said that, you know, this had happened to them, and I think they wanted to be vindicated on that day. But in hindsight, maybe it is better that the government has read a 1,000-page report. They've come to the understanding that the enormity of what these women have suffered, and I think ultimately, whether the apology comes the day of the report or 2 weeks' time, the fact is that it looks like it will happen, and I think from our own perspective, that's an enormous step forward. And I don't think any of the women here today ever imagined that they would physically be sitting in front of the Taoiseach and having 3 hours whereby they get to tell him their story and for him to listen to them. So